What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sly Jordy, and welcome back to F1 25 driver career mode for the reverse British Grand Prix. That's right, we finally made it to reverse Silverstone, the second of the 3 new reverse tracks in this year's F1 game. But if you missed last episode at the original Silverstone Grand Prix, we finally got some semblance of redemption by getting a really strong result, a P3, and we fought really hard for it. Of course, the new sports update that just came out tweaked the AI in a way where we were able to actually race against them in the wet, which was impossible beforehand because they were completely broken. But we managed to get a really good race out of it, and we had some heavy tyre wear, but still managed to get P3 regardless of the heavy tyre wear, which was scary, honestly, because I did everything I could to save the tyres, driving on the wet patches of the circuit to keep the tyres cool, and we still only just managed to make it across the line without a puncture. I bet one more lap would have been a puncture, so yeah, perhaps it might have been better to go for a 2-stop, but going for the 2-stop might have been a much worse result. But fortunately for us, the person who did end up getting the much worse result was Max Verstappen, a P8, getting trapped behind traffic in the wet, and yeah, he ended up falling to P3 in the driver's standings. Lando Norris up to P2 in the driver's standings after that win around Silverstone, of course. And another update to this episode and an update to the game is actually the driver rating comparison. There has been an update to a lot of these drivers, including our teammate Fernando Alonso getting bumped up from 86 to 88. I have no idea why on earth Oscar Piastri is an overall lower than Lando Norris, considering Piastri literally leads the championship. Like, I'm sorry, Codemasters, how does that even work? Let's be real. But all in all, I think everything else kind of matches up just fine. I guess Albon really close to Sainz now. And then these are pretty representative of what's happening in the season thus far. I honestly, I think Hadjar still being one of the worst rated people. Yeah, hang on. Oliver Behrman rated higher than Isaac Hadjar. Yeah, I know there's career to take into account, so maybe he's not, but Hadjar should be like well up there. Let's be real, he should be higher than Antonelli, higher than Ocon. Like, Hadjar should be like an 84 overall, let's be real. So I don't know why he's a 79 overall. That is just absolutely tragic, to be quite honest, considering the season he's had. It's absolute BS. Where's Liam Lawson? Yeah, same overall as Lawson. It doesn't make any sense. I like Lawson, don't get me wrong, but Hadjar has been much better this season. I have no idea how Codemasters calculate these ratings, but I'm telling you right now, they make no sense. But going into this Grand Prix, of course, we have, well, no new upgrades, obviously, but we have upgrades in progress, and quite a lot of them. Unfortunately, I can only do 2 at once, so we're just doing some minor upgrades right now to the aero and the chassis. I don't believe anybody will be able to get any upgrades in on time. Unfortunately, Alonso has his eye on a durability upgrade. I would much rather he, you know, go for one of these, and I guess actually we can go for them. And these actually arrive before Spa, so we can actually get a minor aerodynamic upgrade in. Can we do any more? I guess we can't. There is powertrain upgrades still coming in soon, and a lot of those are going to be coming in before Spa, so Spa's going to be really, really interesting. Hopefully we can push the car a lot higher up the order, because I am really outperforming this car right now. Alonso would be having some really good results, but he's just been really unlucky lately, including last episode where he was nearly 3 seconds off the pace in qualifying, which makes absolutely no sense. I don't know how that's even possible, but yeah, he only has 14 points so far. He really should have a lot more, especially since those 2 races that he DNF'd in, he was actually running like pretty high in the points. So we're really hoping his bad luck runs out really soon, because this is the final race before we are pretty much halfway through the season. I think halfway through this weekend we will officially be halfway through the season. So yeah, Here we go. Let's get right into it. Silverstone Reverse. Again, I have really, really been looking forward to this out of all of the reverse tracks, to be honest, because Silverstone, you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of that track, but the reverse variant is a nice little refresher, and I've actually played quite a lot of this track, well, a few times, rather, myself, and I actually prefer it. But that is outside of the career mode. What's going to happen in the career mode? We'll have to find out, but into the weekend now. We are now at the circuit. Looks like there is still like a 20% chance of having rain in either qualifying or the race, or both, but it is a pretty low chance, so it looks like we can have a proper, good, dry race as we go into this weekend. Looking at any upgrades, it looks as though McLaren have brought in upgrades into this weekend, as if they even needed it, let's be real. Williams have brought in an upgrade, Haas as well, jumping above Alpine and VCarb. So keep an eye on Haas this weekend, that's for sure. But other than that, nothing has really changed. We're going to see a lot more upgrades going into Spa now that the regulations have been somewhat lifted. It's going to be really, 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 really interesting. But either way, it's time to get into Silverstone Reverse. It's time to get into qualifying. Let's go.
Welcome along, everybody, to a venue that was built for speed. Once an airfield, now one of the finest racetracks in the world. It's qualifying day here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix.
And I, for one, have really high hopes for Silverstone Reverse here today. As you guys know, I've never really been the biggest fan of Silverstone. It's definitely always been one of my least favourite circuits on the calendar, mostly for the amount of tyre wear it has, but also just how much faster the AI are usually around this circuit. Obviously, in recent years, I have gotten better at the track, but even as recent as last season in this very game, I still struggle, and in some ways I definitely hate the track. But from testing so far, I haven't really done a full-blown F1 race around Silverstone Reverse before. I've usually just done time trials, and I've done F2 races around this circuit, but never gone around it in qualifying or race conditions in a Formula 1 car. So this is a first for me today. I've been saving it, and this has honestly been the reverse track I've been looking forward to the most, because I feel as though this was the one that needed it. I, again, don't like Silverstone. I'm sick of it. But Silverstone Reverse honestly feels a lot better. One of my least favourite corners is the Beckett's section of Maggots and Beckett's, because you really have to slow down for it, and a lot of the time you'll get a lot of understeer, especially in this game against the AI. I remember F1 24 being pretty difficult for it. I've played a lot of Silverstone in ranked in both of these games as well, so I've never really been a fan of that corner, but it absolutely does feel better in this reverse track. But it also looks very different. You know, just doing it in reverse, it genuinely does feel like a totally different track, and I'm a big fan of it. That lap wasn't the greatest. That was only a banker lap. We get a 1:28.0. We're actually quicker than the Ferraris, though, which is quite interesting. Fernando Alonso does set a quicker time than us, so we'll be hoping to set a quicker time. And yeah, so far, not the greatest. It is around the same sort of time right now, but as you could probably tell by the ERS if you were paying attention earlier, we've saved a lot more this go-around, so we're going to be able to gain so much more time down this straight. Look at that, over 1/10 now, getting closer and closer towards 2/10. There we go, it's over 2/10 now, getting closer to 3/10. What a time this is going to be. What a sector 3 this has already been. Now over 3/10. It's still rising, even though we went a little bit wide there on the exit, but it's now over 4/10 as we cross the line. What's it gonna be? It is P6, so just above our average. I'm quite happy with that. Honestly, I think we were going to do much worse. This is my first, well, not the first dry qualifying, but only the second dry qualifying of this new AI update. It's a McLaren lockout by quite a bit. Russell 2/10 off of Norris. Albon qualifying really well in the Williams, and Fernando Alonso beats us out for P5 in the full race. What an interesting race it's going to be. Both Ferraris outside of the top 10. Both Haas's in the top 10. Wow. This is going to be sick.
Welcome to not only the home of British motorsport, but also the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, a classic on the calendar, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Oscar Piastri completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Russell, Albon, Fernando Alonso, the rookie, Sainz, Ocon, Antonelli, and Ollie Behrman, Leclerc, Stroll, Pierre Gasly, and Hadjar, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Jack Doohan, and Max Verstappen. Bortoletto and Franco Colapinto rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. Now, we had great fun watching them win last time out. What a great victory it was. But can they carry that into today's race?
It's the important one, isn't it, Crofty? You've done it once, can you do it again? But, you know, if you start believing in yourself and the confidence starts to build, that inner confidence is what you need. And you can carry that through to future races, including this one, and you set that ball rolling. That's the critical thing that they're looking for here. And I believe if you've got that first race win or a win at any stage, it can start to roll with you in a good way.
Right, mate, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but I want you to treat it like any other race. Let's not make any unnecessary risks, please.
Well, yeah, we're not going to risk anything. We're going to play it completely safe. In Season 1, we went for the 1-stop, but it seems as though a 2-stop is the only choice this time round. I've decided to switch it up a little bit. I don't want to go too long on the softs. I really don't think they're going to last that long. And to be honest, I'm not even sure I trust the mediums. From all of my testing in practice, tyre wear is quite high around here. Pretty much the same as it was always. But instead of the left front tyre getting the brunt of it, it is the right front tyre getting the brunt of it this time. It's basically just swapped round. It is the same track after all, so we'll be doing a lot of work, and maybe you might be thinking maybe it would have been better to start on the mediums and go mediums to hards, but we're starting in P6. I know we're quicker than the Williams, or at least we can be quicker than the Williams. We're too close to them not to be, and I know we're up there with the Mercedes as well, so I want to get the best start possible and see if we can push for P3. I'm not sure about the McLarens. We might have to just let them go ahead, see what happens. But P3 definitely up for grabs. Another podium around Silverstone up for grabs as we finish off this British Grand Prix weekend and wait for the 5 red lights to go out, and we are underway finally, and what a start it is. Absolutely majestic start on the softs now, side by side with Russell. Russell squeezes us out to the inside, a little bit of contact here, banging tyres as we just about get ahead. I go a bit too wide there, a little bit of oversteer, and Russell, wow, giving us a little bit of a love tap or a little bit of a squeeze on the exit of that corner. Maybe we deserved that for the contact, I don't know. I think the contact earlier was a bit unavoidable because we had to go over the curb or risk smashing into Russell at an even worse rate. But what a start this has been, jumping Alonso, jumping Albon. That just goes to show how good the soft tyres are this weekend. The medium's still warming up, and we are still trying to get past George Russell. Now side by side, going into Cops, oh my god, and Russell just about manages to keep the position, but we are still there, still side by side with George Russell, our fellow British compatriot. Around the outside we go. Can we possibly finally get this move done? diving down the inside now, going on to another straight, and we are still neck and neck, getting a little bit of slipstream just behind him, and once again, we are side by side with Russell. What a fight this is, as we now dive down the inside, finally a slow corner. This is it, finally getting the move done. What a fight that was with our fellow British compatriot George Russell in the Mercedes. Wow, what a fight. And that's what I love about F125's AI, that is for sure, compared to any other F1 game I've played, to be quite honest. And I've played the last few since 2018, of course. So, yeah, definitely the most aggressive I've ever seen them. And yeah, we've just about managed to get P3. We're on the softs, though. I don't know how long these are going to last with the amount of tyre wear that, you know, the Pirelli tyres showed in practice. We're now on lap 3. Unfortunately, as I said, not able to catch up to the McLaren. Strangely enough, Piastri started on the softs. So he's about 2.3 seconds ahead of Norris now. We're getting chased down by Russell. He's probably going to pass us now side by side through Beckett. But we're actually going to keep the position. I'm still going to fight Russell. We're on the same set of tyres as him. So for me personally, there's no point in letting Russell pass. There's no point in making it easy for him. We know we're not going to be able to catch the McLarens. I did spend a couple of laps trying to, but yeah, those mediums are very quickly becoming the best tyre, and Russell really wants to make this move before Albon chases him down. And look at that, Russell managing to get P3 for a second there, but we dove down the inside and we took the position again, now going around the outside, and Russell finally manages to get past us. What a fight that was with the AI across multiple laps of George Russell. Absolutely beautiful racing right there, leading a bit of a DRS train, of course. We did slow them down, and that is the harms of the soft tyre, because it's going to run out very quickly. I literally only went on the softs to start off with, because as you can see, 70% tyre wear on the front right and building fast, and it's only lap 5. That's how quick the tyre wear is around this circuit on just one set of tyres. You know, only a few tracks have this issue. Spain, of course, was another one, but Silverstone is easily the worst on the calendar for this, which is why our one-stop failed so miserably last season in the V-Carb. But in the Aston Martin, I would say it's a little better, but tyre wear in general is even worse, because the only upgrades that most people have are powertrain related. A lot of the big aerodynamics upgrades are going to be coming in for the next Grand Prix, but for this one, yeah, the tyre wear is going to be at its maximum. We're now going to pit on lap 5, so a lap earlier than I even planned. And I initially it was like a lap 7, lap 8. I think that's what was recommended, but yeah, I tried to put it to lap 6, but there's no way we're going to get that far without a devastating puncture, as we now ride along with the Williams of Alex Albon, looking to make this pass here. We could let him pass, but honestly, there's no reason to. We are going to pit on this lap, so just in case we're not able to catch up to Russell, which I don't see why not, but just in case, I don't want to give Albon any extra time to gain honours, as we now finally come into the pits. A heavy slowdown. It's very high speed going into the pit lane. Definitely the hardest one, the most difficult one to slow down for. And speaking of slowdown, Silverstone, of course, is the slowest pit stop on the calendar, so it is a bit of an agonising wait, but we know that all the other cars will have to deal with this, of course. It's a pretty good pit stop by the pit crew here at Aston Martin, and we are on to our second stint onto the medium, 6 laps into the Grand Prix, probably a couple of laps off of everybody else pitting. Verstappen so far has only managed to get a P15, so we're not going to have to worry about Verstappen. Looks like it's been an absolute nightmare weekend for him, and Ferrari in general. Leclerc, P7 right now behind the Williams of Carlos Sainz. George Russell doing well in P3, Albon 2.4 seconds behind, so we'll see how long Russell decides to stay out. He's actually decided to pit 2 laps after us. God knows how bad those soft tyres must have been. Of course, we know the AI doesn't deal with tyre temperatures, but tyre wear is still a thing from every corner, you know? So they're still gaining it. So yeah, I mean, look at how much time Russell lost. Look at the undercut here. We were well over a second away from Russell as we headed into the pits, and now we've completely turned that over into a 4.2 second lead over Russell. That is absolutely huge. And that's how bad the soft tyres were towards the end. I don't know why they decided to keep them out. Funnily enough, though, Norris is pitted before Piastri. Piastri is still out 9 laps in on the softs. I understand he was seconds ahead of Norris, you know, and he was able to get into clean air, and obviously those tyres would last a lot longer because he's able to relax a bit more. But surely he should have gotten pit priority being on the softer tyres. I really don't understand what McLaren are doing here. Piastri just seems to be the unluckiest AI in this career mode. I'm honestly really tempted to do what I can to get Piastri onto my team for F1 my team, and, you know, try and turn his luck around there. But look at this, Piastri just coming out of the pits now. He is going to be quite far behind Norris. Not too far behind, to be fair, but about 2 seconds behind him, onto the same set of tyres now. Don't get me wrong, those mediums are going to be newer, but only by a couple of laps, you know? So Piastri's really been shafted by McLaren here. It's really, really strange. But, you know, talking about us once more, we're getting a call about our tyre degradation, of course, and yeah, once we get around this corner, we'll have a look at the strategy, what they're wanting to go for, and it looks as though they want us to pit on lap 13. I decided to keep the current lap 15. So far, the mediums are about 55% tyre wear, so I don't think we're going to make it to lap 15, but I also think we could last it longer than lap 13. The longer these mediums go, the longer I can get these mediums to go, then of course the better the hards are going to be. So we're getting close to 80% tyre wear now. We know we could get a puncture pretty much at any moment on this lap. I am really heavily taking that risk right now, knowingly taking that risk, because, you know, I want this podium. I think if we pit too early, Russell might get a bit of an advantage. I want us to maintain the clean air and the amount of space that we have behind us as much as possible. Yes, Russell has caught up now, but it has taken him all the way up to when I'm decided to pit for him to do it. So if that can happen again when we're on the hard tyres, this podium is more or less assured, because the less laps I have to defend against Russell, the more of an advantage we are going to have. So we've got 81% tyre wear now, as Russell finally passes us down the inside. I'm going to let him pass because I know we're pitting anyway, and it might actually be quicker for us to get some slipstream onto this next corner. 82% now as we finally slow down coming into the pits. The tyre wear is huge round here. If you thought it was huge last race, we only had to pit once. This is twice. All sets of tyres are struggling around Silverstone. It's actually crazy how much tyre wear we have around here. I don't even think it's this bad in real life, is it? Surely not. As we finally peel into the pits and bolt on our final set of tyres, the hard tyres. Oliver Behrman in the Haas has unfortunately DNF'd. That is really unfortunate for him. He started in P10. Which was great for him. Oliver Behrman is another guy that I want on my team. That series is still happening. I know we've only done one episode, but I actually plan to do a lot more live streams on that series after this season. We're going to take a little bit of a break after season 2 and get a season of my team in before we get back to doing driver career mode, which I think should be interesting. I'm pretty excited for it, that is for sure. As we now follow the onboard of Oscar Piastri, he's managed to get the deficit down to 1 second to Norris, so this is a good opportunity now for Piastri to maybe make the pass on Norris, but oh no! What on earth is going on in this game? Oscar Piastri, another DNF. I swear to God, there's only like 4 drivers that have ever DNF'd in my career mode, and 9 times out of 10, it's been Piastri. He is the unluckiest driver I have ever seen in any F1 career mode. It's actually ridiculous at this point. I'm really not a fan of it. Alonso was getting the brunt of it for most of this season, and now of all people it has to be Piastri. Like, why can't it be Norris? Norris is getting so lucky with these engine failures. He's only had 1 in 2 seasons. Piastri has had about 5, you know, maybe even more than that. He has been that unlucky. But yeah, everybody coming out of the pits now, at least the ones we're dealing with. George Russell is 2 seconds behind us, so we have a 2-second lead over Russell with that undercut onto the hards. Of course, Russell will be on fresher hard tyres, but we're all saving the hards in the same corners, including Cops. A lot of us are lifting through Cops, I should know, because I watched the replays afterwards. I watched all the AI going through Cops. Everybody is lifting through there to save on tyres. So if it comes down to it, we could honestly push through Cops if needed. But honestly, yeah, even on the hards, the tyre wear is crazy. 2 laps left to go, and we're on 73% tyre wear, 75% tyre wear now, coming on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. That's right, nothing else really happened. Lando Norris ran away with it. A full domination of the Grand Prix, but I surely think Piastri would have won this race if it weren't for that engine failure. Honestly, I really wish we would have the opportunity to turn off AI engine failures, because yeah, at a certain point I think it gets a bit ridiculous. I don't mind having engine failures on for like the first half of a season, but going into the second half, nobody should be having engine failures anymore. It very rarely happens in real life, let's be real. So yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I think hopefully we get a feature that allows us to just switch that off, because I really don't like it. I hate it. But yeah, we're on the onboard now with George Russell chasing us down. Of course, if we go another lap, these hards are going to burst. So yeah, we're only just making it across the line. It's very much like the last race around Silverstone on the wet tyres. It's just high tyre wear around here, and we had to slow down through a lot of those corners. That's why Russell is now caught up to just under 4 tenths behind us. I'm trying to get out of the slipstream, or try and get him out of the slipstream, trying to break the toe, as Crofty likes to say. And yeah, we have just about won this race as we come around this final slow corner back onto a high-speed section. 81% tyre wear, but it's been a very successful weekend around Silverstone. 2 podiums, and we did 1 better than the wet race, purely because of Piastri's DNF, but we need every point that we can get for this championship battle, especially with Lando Norris slowly but surely catching up and dominating. I'll take a P2.
The fans rise to their feet. It's Lando Norris for victory.
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course, Crofty. And it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, you know, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forwards?
It's what they've all been racing towards, waiting for them. High above the pit lane is our podium. And for the lucky 3, it's time to stand on it. He raises the trophy over his head. Lando Norris, head and shoulders above the rest today.
Not only head and shoulders, but full body and then some. Lando Norris wins the British Grand Prix by over 20 seconds. A full domination, just like it was in the wet. A grand slam for him. And look at this, an all-British podium here as George Russell comes home in P3. What a perfect Grand Prix this is for the British fans. I'm just glad to be a part of it. And our teammate Fernando Alonso got a very strong result. Definitely needed. A P5 for Alonso. Leclerc gets a P4 for Ferrari. He actually overtakes Verstappen by 1 point. Norris narrows the gap between himself and us by now down to 16 points. So it's going to be very, very interesting as we go into the final stages of the season. I wish Verstappen hadn't had as unlucky as of a weekend as he had. Absolutely pointless here today around Silverstone reverse, and Verstappen in just 2 races has found himself like 55 points away from us at the top of the championship at this point. We'll see what happens over the next few races, but yeah, it's going to get very, very interesting. We're clearly not the fastest car, and Norris, the consistency is starting to set in, so we need to get as close to those McLarens as possible. It does help that Piastri had an engine failure, but luck won't last forever. No matter how many times he has an engine failure, he usually has a great result. Anyway, guys, cheers for watching. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button as hard as you possibly can, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you all next time for some more F1 25. I'll see you soon. Peace.